Ojai. Lima, the city on the Pacific coast of South America, the capital of the Republic of Peru. Administrative center of the autonomous province Lima of the region Lima. Main political, economic and cultural center of the country. It is based by the Spanish colonists in 1535. Subsequently, it became the center of the Spanish colonies in South America, after declaration of independence of Peru in 1821, the capital of the Republic of Peru. The historic center of Lima in 1988 is entered in the UNESCO World Cultural Heritage List. The city was put by Spaniards in 1535 in day of a Catholic holiday 3 hours. Epiphany. On the riverbank Rimac and Ciudad de los Reyes, the royal city was originally called Ciudad, City, de, a pretext, Los Reyes, King and Queen, royal couple. However, instead of this pretentious name, the name from a Gadronim Rimac which over time passed into Lim took roots. Gadronim Rimac, by some estimates, in language of Indians of Quechua means speaking, the one someone speaks. In the Colombo times, the territory of present Lima inhabited the Indian tribes of Anapam which were engaged in fishery and irrigation agriculture. In the 15th century they were included in structure of the Empire of Inca. On January 18, 1535 the Spanish conquistador Francisco Pizarro founded the city of Ciudad de los Reyes, that in translation from Spanish means the City of Kings. According to the historian Cés de Leon, as the governor Don Francisco Pizarro thought to build this settlement, having examined the Valley Sangolia, and other places on the coast, going down with several Spaniards once where now there is a city, the place to him it seemed for this purpose suitable, and that in her there were necessary conditions. And therefore the place was applied on the drawing, and the city was built in the flat field of this valley, in 2 small leagues from the sea. However, among local population of Anapam instead of this name another took roots, given to the city down the river and Waka Rimac and in the valley Lima. Waka Rimac represented a round stone. After gain and the partition of lands by Spaniards, this stone was in a certain Jeronimo de Silva's garden. From the first Indian Chronicle of Peru, Messages of Capucamayoc, 1542, it is known that originally the City of Kings was in other place. Marquis Francisco Pizarro, after the partition of the earth at once left to finish settling of the City of Kings, having transferred him from the valley of Joya where first he was put, and left in Cuzco the deputy governor Hernando Pizarro and Juan Pizarro, the brothers, both other captains, and Gonzalo Pizarro with them. Juan de Betanzos, Capucamayoc of Colyapania Supno, etc. Message about origin and government of Inca. In 1536 groups of the Incan insurgents under the leadership of Manco II besieged the city, but Spaniards managed to reject besieging, despite a repeated superiority in strength of Indians. When in 1543 Peru was proclaimed the Spanish vice-kingdom, Lima became the center of the Spanish dominion in South America. According to the census of 1614 conducted by the vice-king of Peru, the Marquis Juan de Mendoza, and the Moon 25154 persons from them lived in the city. Spaniards and Creoles minus 5257, Spaniards minus 4359, black slaves minus 4529, black women minus 5857, mulattoes and mulattoes minus 744, Indians minus 1116, Indians minus 867, Métaises and bastards minus 192, monks, nuns and their service staff minus 2227.
The comfortable geographical location of Lima and her capital status promoted blossoming of the city, which became the main shopping center of all Spanish South America.
Lima's richness drew attention of powers hostile to Spain and also a great number of pirates. For protection of the city in 1684-1687 the grandiose system of defensive works was built. Alas, the strongest earthquake of 1687 considerably destroyed both city walls, and the city, having become a turning point in the history of Lima. In the next decades the city lost the trade value in favor of Buenos Aires and Cartagena. Not less strong earthquake of 1746 caused huge damage to the city again, having given, at the same time, start of extensive reconstruction of Lima.
The support of urban economy on trade with the mother country led to the fact that Lima's elite opposed the ideas gaining popularity about independence of the Spanish Empire.
In September 1820 the General Street Martin landed with the army in Peru, captured Lima, and the next year, on July 28, 1821, declared independence of the state of Peru, and Lima received the status of the capital. After the Second Pacific War Lima long time, from 1884 to 1929, was in a condition of a deep economic crisis. And only to the 1930th the situation of the city began to be stabilized. Huge damage to the city was caused by an earthquake of 1940.
However, in the period of the political instability proceeding from the middle of the 1940th years prior to the beginning of the 1990th in the capital Massachusetts, unemployment and the high rate of inflation were noted again. Despite all economic problems, Lima became the center of gravity of hundreds of thousands of migrants from mountainous areas of the country.
So, from 1940 to 1980 the population of the city grew from 0.624 8 million people.
Massachusetts' influx of poor residents of mountain areas led to formation of extensive blighted areas around the city. This problem doesn't manage to be overcome until now.
Since 1993 some progress was outlined in economy of Peru. By the beginning of 1994 the economy of the capital and country in general began to develop quickly. Now the economical and political situation in Lima can be characterized as stable. Lima is located on the coast of the Pacific Ocean, in valleys of the Rimac, Cheyenne and Lurin rivers, at a foot of the Andes. The historic center of the city is approximately in 15 kilometers from the ocean, on the bank of Rimac. Height of the city fluctuates from 0, the embankment of the ocean, up to 500. Slums on the mountains surrounding Lima, meters above sea level. Natural vegetation is presented mainly by rare bushes and cactuses. The port city of Cala surrounded from 3 parties with the territory of Lima and from the west the Pacific Ocean, formerly is the certain settlement, but actually long ago merged with Lima.
Climate in Lima very peculiar, with the high level of humidity, but with almost total absence of rainfall in spite of the fact that the city is located on the 12th degree of southern latitude and almost at sea level.
It is defined by influence of the cold oceanic Gumbolita current going from Antarctica, proximity of the Andes in a tropical Shiratnost. Climate of the city tropical, without extreme heat and strong cold snaps. Average annual temperature is from 18.5 C to 19 C, at the maximum annual summer about 29 C. From December to April of temperature keep in the range from 28 C to 21 C. From the middle of June on September, in the range from 19 C to 12 C. The lowest registered air temperature minus 8.9 C. In the spring, September-October, and in the fall, May, temperature from 23 C to 17 C. Relative air humidity is very high, 100%. That conducts to resistant fogs in June and December. Because of almost constant low dense overcast sunshine duration in Lima is 1284 hours a year. On average 28.6 hours in July and 179.1 hours in January. For the width at which the city is located, these indicators are exclusively low. Average annual temperature plus 19.5 C. Absolute minimum of air temperature plus 8.9 C. On July 15, 1986. Absolute maximum of air temperature plus 33.3 C. On March 31, 1983. The number of residents of Lima, with suburbs, more than 9 million people, that makes about a third of the population of Peru. The city differs in extremely various ethnic and racial structure of the population. White minus 40%. Metis is minus 44%. Asians minus 8%. Indians minus 5%. Afro-Latin Americans minus 3%. The most part white are descendants. In decreasing order of number, the Spanish, Italian, German and Croatian immigrants. Lima has the Chinese community, largest in Latin America and the second, after Sao Paulo, Japanese. Thanks to so various cultural heritage of citizens, Lima is often called the culinary capital of both America. Here it is possible to meet restaurants of almost all kitchens of the world. Official languages too. Spanish and Quechua. Catholics believe in generally. The crime rate is quite high, as well as in all large Latin American cities. The metropolitan region consists of 7 districts which, in turn, are divided into 49 areas. Economy. Lima is the largest financial and industrial center of Peru. The city gives more than 2/3 GDP of the country, and one of the main economic centers of Latin America. Thanks to the cheap and qualified labor, the developed infrastructure and access to cheap raw materials in the city and vicinities, over 700 industrial enterprises, generally textile, food, oil processing and chemical industry, are placed. The main financial institutions of Lima are concentrated around San Isidro and include such banks as Banco de Crédito del Perú, Interbank, Bank of the Nation, Banco Continental, Mibanco, Banco Interamericano de Finanzas, Banco Financiero, Banco de Comercio, and Credit Scotia. In Lima, the regional headquarters of Standard Chartered Bank is also placed. The increasing role in urban economy is played every year by tourism. The most part from millions of tourists who are annually visiting the country begin the acquaintance to her with the capital. Lima is served by the international airport of Jorge Chávez. Located in 11 kilometers to the northwest from the historic center of the city, with a passenger traffic of 13.3 million people in a year. 2012. That is the fourth indicator on the continent. Regular passenger flights are performed to dozens of the cities of Northern and Southern America and also to Paris, Madrid and Amsterdam. In 2012, Skytrax recognized Lima's airport the best in South America. Through Lima there passes Pan-American Sky Highway. Also in the city center, Ni Highway begins. Carretera Central, connecting the capital to internal regions of the country and coming to an end in Pucallpa at border with Brazil. Bus transport in Peru is perfectly developed. Tens of the companies offer long-distance flights by comfortable two-storied buses. The port of Lima, located in the suburb of Cala, is the fishing port and one of the first in goods turnovers, largest in South America. In Lima, the 535-kilometer railroad Ferrocarril Central Andino, connecting the center of the mining region of Cerro de Pasco to seaport, the second highest above sea level in the world, begins. Except ore delivery, the road is used also in the tourist purposes. The system of public transport of Lima differs in a fair share of chaos. About 500 transport companies serving twice bigger number of bus routes work in the city. With an establishing order in the sphere of transport, the city authorities in 2010 opened a 33-kilometer route of high-speed El Metropolitano buses, and in 2011 there began work the first branch of the Lima subway. 16 stations, 21 kilometers. In 1928-1931 in the city there was also a trolleybus system which was remade in tram, existed to the 50th. It was the only case of such rearrangement known in the history. Education. National University San Marcos. National Engineering University, Lima. Papal Catholic University, Peru. Culture and sites. The Indian heritage of Peru and also the ancient Inca civilization, living on the Peruvian earth before gained by her Spaniards, had a huge impact on Lima's culture. Before emergence of the Empire of Inca, in 1 century BB-7 century AD, in the territory of Lima there was Lima culture. It is possible to see heritage of the advanced Inca civilization not only in numerous archaeological sites and finds which are stored in Lima's museums, but also in modern folk art of residents of the capital of Peru. Buildings of the colonial period represent mixture of the Spanish and Indian styles, which combination Peruvians called Creole style. Besides the great constructions built under the influence of the Spanish and Indian cultures in Lima, there are several architectural constructions constructed in style with pronounced Mauritian influence. Also in the capital it is possible to see a set of examples of modern architecture. Among Lima's museums it should be noted the National Museum of History, the Museum of the Republic, which expositions belong to a colonial era and the early period of independence. The National Museum of Anthropology and Archaeology, where the rich collection of works of art of a Docolumbav of the period is presented. The Museum of the Vice Kingdom, storing samples of furniture, clothes and painting of the colonial period. Natural Historical Museum, Javier Prado. Gallery of the Modern Peruvian Art. In the country, new higher education institutions, in particular in Lima, Besides the world-famous University San Marcos almost annually open, there are some more higher educational institutions. The considerable collection of books is stored in National Library and libraries of the universities.
In the capital there is a National Conservatory and the Symphonic Orchestra created in 1938.
In the program of orchestra works by composers of Peru prevail: Andrés Sosa Orchasalia, Carlos Sanchez of Malaga, Armando Guevara Ochara and others. From the middle of the 16th century, the important place in cultural life of Lima is taken by theatre. In 1548 at San Pedro Square the first secular theatrical performance was held.
Now the most known theatre of the country is the Municipal Theatre in Lima, which premises is also used as the concert hall. Among the largest newspapers appearing in Lima, the Comercio newspaper founded in 1839 and also Espresso, Republic, and the official Peruano government publication enjoys special popularity. The monument to a ceviche, to a national Peruvian dish on the basis of the fresh fish marinated in lime juice, is open in 2013.
Also far. Write comments. Read comments. Interesting people will tell interesting stories. All of good mood and good luck.